Hello, I'm Michael Cummin, and welcome to On Common Ground. It's a place where we'll regularly explore some of the ideas that become common to us all through work, news, family, friends, or shared experiences. Please subscribe if you'd like an update, as we've more episodes on the way. Going forward with low-hanging fruit, blue sky thinking, taking things offline, boiling the ocean, and giving it 110%. You've heard them all. That meaningless guff that some people use to make themselves sound like they possess a fluency in corporate speak that makes them feel like they belong. Jargon is infectious. Someone uses a phrase at a meeting, someone else likes the sound of it, and it spreads like a virus, and no amount of hand washing will stop it in its tracks. What harm does it do, you might ask? Most likely, little, other than making the user of these lame phrases sound unoriginal. But there is another challenge. In the same way, most people no longer pay attention to the safety demonstration at the start of a flight as they feel they've heard it all before. Words lose their value through repetition and misuse. Try a little experiment. Take a word and repeat it over and over again out loud. Chimney, 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 chimney. Starting to sound weird? That's semantic satiation. There's a great phrase to get into your next conversation or Zoom call. It's a psychological phenomenon in which repetition causes a word or phrase to temporarily lose meaning for the listener, who then perceives the speech as repeated, meaningless sounds. So why am I worried about semantic satiation or blue sky thinking? Well, the phenomenon is starting to spread to some essential words. They are, I believe, through repetition and misuse, beginning to lose their value and importance. The two I'm most concerned about are resilience and empathy. Strangely enough, they're both straight out of the world of emotional intelligence and are beloved of coaches and trainers everywhere. Resilience has for a while been somewhat mandatory for inclusion in conference and seminar titles, and with good intentions for the most part, unless there's an underlying hope that its inclusion will encourage people to become more robust, hardier, and to take on more and survive under increased workloads. We'll explore that again in a future episode. The other word that's being flogged to within an inch of its life at the moment is empathy. By definition, it's the capacity to understand or feel what another person's experiencing within their frame of reference, to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Fill in an emotional intelligence profile and you'll be scored on your empathy. The questions will range from, I can pick up quickly if someone says one thing but means another, to friends usually talk to me about their problems as they say I'm very understanding. Great, but what does it mean in the course of our day-to-day interactions with other people? In a coaching session the other day, I set a simple task. From a list of words that describe emotions, the job was to pick the top 5 you need to experience at work to feel successful, or that you might say your success at work depends on. If you'd like to try the exercise, pause the podcast and write down 5 emotions you need to feel at work in order to feel successful. If it doesn't suit to do it now, do it later. This is a great exercise and has a secondary effect of introducing additional emotional vocabulary into a coaching session. But then, something strange happened, which prompted today's topic. Once we'd identified the words, which in that session included appreciated, involved, confident, encouraged, and supported, we were up and running and explored the importance and value of each of these emotions as contributing to feelings of success at work. And then I had a moment's inspiration. Not always a good idea, but hey, I thrive on spontaneity. And I asked my client what emotions they thought their boss needed to feel to achieve that same feeling of success in their work. And that's when it happened. The answer was, they'd no idea. The skill of empathy didn't stretch that far. Sure, we can feel compassion for someone who might be visibly distressed. We can sometimes become teary-eyed watching a film, but does the skill of empathy really kick in to the same extent in our workplace relationships? Just to make sure this wasn't a one-off phenomenon, I asked a few more people to try the same exercise, to imagine the top 5 emotions their boss needed to feel to be successful, and what they might do to contribute to that success. The answers weren't great, from I've never thought of it to my boss has no feelings. And here's where I'll admit that I too have rarely thought about the emotional requirements of the people I've worked for. Now, 30 years of self-employment has made sure that I have an awareness of creating customer and client satisfaction. But before that, did I think about how my manager was feeling or needed to feel? No. Empathy is an easy word to throw about, but there's a lot more to it than that. The practice of it has already been defined by Daniel Goleman as being essential for leadership. No arguments there. But imagine if it permeated all levels of an organisation. There might be more openness, less bullying, and fewer people hiding their true feelings behind corporate jargon and guff. Going forward. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to share this and subscribe to get an update on new episodes.